one thing when Samantha was an even lady, was very instrumental with us in terms of development. With our craft and talent. So, same time, then we happy, and the drum at the time used to go by Toby Tobias for drum lessons and Diego Martin at the time. We used to go theory lessons and to read and that kind of thing.
So you all actually had formal training in it as well. Yeah.
Exams and things.
Nice. Right, so while we're here, in the zone, hurry up again in good specs. Yeah, in good specs.
1, 2, check 1, 2, good.
Microphone levels nice, man. Levels up there. Yeah, we good to go. Once we stretch out and we looking good here, like I say, modern technology has things anyway. A microphone could be as small as a pinhead.
Yeah.
And that picking it up as clean as could be. So while we're on the block, today is one of the days that and I mean I say this every time I kind of get inside, because the people that has been on so far has contributed significantly in some way or the other to the art form. So far it's only entertainers. Today the guests on the block today, I can't say the guests on the block, them fellas who passing through on the block today. It's none other than the Rivers brothers. The Rivers brothers, them fellas flowing through the block today, and trust what I say, this is one of the times when you had to understand, if you ain't coming good, don't come at all, because them fellas them have real history. Them fellas have some history, and I'm telling you, they musically inclined, not even inclined, but what is called that? What's bigger than an incline? A mountain? A wealth of knowledge, a wealth of experience, a wealth of talent, and it is indeed a pleasure for these guys to be on the block today. And I'm going to introduce now in what form and fashion, boy. They started, and I'm going to put my foot in my mouth now, but they started a show probably sometime in the early 80s, if I'm correct. Early 80s as young fellas. Or I could be wrong. Or they started in the 70s, or maybe 70s,
70s.
No, nah. Then let's start with about 5 years old, 5, 6 years old.
Actually, before that.
You serious?
Yeah.
You see what I mean? I thought I put my foot in my mouth. So I just put this in step on what's about, you know what I mean? But seriously, these guys hail from Palo Seco originally. I show about that one.
Yes.
Hail from Palo Seco, South Trinidad. And some people would like to consider that as deep south, but I ain't deep south. They're not deeper than that. But they're almost down there. The Palo Seco here border basically Losiro and those places, Rancho and those places down on that side. Country boys. And them fellas up down south. Ladies and gentlemen, on the block today, none other than Mr. Vincent and Joey Rivers. Fellas, welcome.
Yeah, man.
Welcome. It's been a long time coming. Since last year I call them fellas. Since 2024 I call them fellas. And them fellas always busy. Them fellas, I don't think they're a stop work, as we call it when they in Trinidad. They don't stop work. They don't finish work at all. They are who is teaching too, and who has band. I mean, they're involved in everything. When it comes to Calypso, soca, parang, just to name a few. You understand? They in everything. Fellas, hey, welcome. Welcome.
Sorry.
Welcome by Harry. Give cheer. They know that we give them that blog. And I mean, we have a guest in the corner there, a good friend of Vin and in the corner there, but he had to get a session by himself. I separated a day by himself. You understand? They brought history with them too, because the Dutchy Brothers band, ladies and gentlemen. But we'll get all of that information. We get everything inside. One of the last existing members of the Dutchy Brothers, is it?
The Dutchy Brothers?
Yeah, the last member of the band that's still around, or you have other members around still?
We have other brothers.
Yeah, right, good. Well, right. So the other two more brothers, right? So,
One
but.
in Ghana and one in California.
we going and listen, right? We just sat down before the podcast. We just sat down before, and we had like about a good 45 minutes with a history, and I only studied. Why like the history lesson going on studying? Why am I not recording this one time? Why am I not recording this? But anyhow, let's get back to the matter on hand. There, the brothers, the Wonder Brothers, by the Wonder Brothers. I just say the Wonder Brothers because them fellas just make magic out of anything that possible when it comes to something with string. Yeah, I didn't know about the other part, the other instruments, but I know anything with string. They're playing that. They tie a string on a lamppost. They're playing. They're making music out of that. So, bassist Vin, guitarist Joey, but I'm sure you guys could play anything with string.
For the most part of it.
For the most part.
She coming up during shutting up since when the foundation band started.
Well, we had to get to that, you know. Yeah, you had to get to that.
Because I played guitar. My first instrument was quattro, banjo. My dad is make musical instrument over there. And almost everything he made, we learned to play.
Serious.
So the foundation started. That way, before 5.
Yeah, so all around it.
Yeah, we learned to talk and learn to play one time.
Yeah, what I say too is like, I mean, as a music educator myself now, I would have learned things about myself, about Vin and the other people I grew up with after we were doing it, but not actually have like an explanation of what
was going on.
And it is a fact that music, but not only music, the training actually starts from the womb now. From that point of conception. This is heavy stuff. What a pregnant woman exposes herself to. I would have interviewed Boxisha, for example, while at uni. And he would have, his mother was pregnant with him. And living within earshot of a backyard.
Oh.
Yeah, so the thoughts, the activities.
Well, you know, there's some people that sing to the babies and sing and babies.
Yeah, no matter the quality of the singing now.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Because I heard stories. Yeah, I mean, I used to do that too as a DJ.
Zena Darius. He born on Kitchener's baby. Right?
Okay.
And Tamika, his mother, she was pregnant with him in Skyline Park and the Marshall.
Okay.
So what do you see happening now?
That is from the womb.
So
basically what you're saying to me right now, let's start to play music before they even born.
We are second to last and last of 7 children.
Contribution again.
So, and our parents, mother and father, were at home. Daddy operating the business at home, making instruments, repairing quattros, guitars, boxes, etc.
So,
and mommy home.
So, and she hearing that every day. Last thing in the night.
So for 9 months, we were inside. It's literally instruments,
playing, things happening. So let me ask you, let's go back to the foundation. I mean, we did establish the fact that you guys are from Palo Seco, right? Down in the Southland. Palo is a very, very real nice place. I love Palo Seco too bad. Palo, Santa Flora, those areas, love it too bad. But going back to when it started, how was life in Palo when you all, I mean, knowing it? How you growing up knowing, you know?
It was fun. I used to tell people I wouldn't trade anything. Yesterday I was going home.
Yeah.
I was going to be back home. I wouldn't matter where I live. Like the primary Cascadura.
Yeah.
The loveliness dance away in my room. Palo Seco.
Seven of you all, you say 7 of you all, and you only the last 2.
Yep.
So wait now, so growing up in our household, everybody musically inclined, was it?
Practically, yes. Not everyone will be career musicians. But not even just the family alone. Every visitor, every uncle, every neighbor.
Yes, yeah, but
I mean, in different country. Whether it's a week or whatever it is, whether they're clapping and singing,
it's music.
shaking and marac.
Yeah.
Church. Yeah. So I was probably about 7 or 8 when I realized that being musical was not part of being human. So somebody, I mean, you don't play nothing, you don't sing nothing, you don't play a top.
Oh, you mean it's strange song or foreign?
Yeah, because everybody coming home.
Yeah, playing something.
Everybody around us. Whether it's for fun or to whatever degree or skill level. And so growing up in an environment like that, it was just commonplace.
Yeah.
The little was like prodigy now.
Prodigy meaning prodigy. Oh, okay. Yeah, I get you.
We started really young.
Yeah.
3 and 4 years old. Playing Marak like properly. Playing quattro.
But Palo Seco is Spanish oriented, is it? Is it
Dry sticks. It's meaning of the word Palo Seco.
dry sticks?
Yes.
But I mean, a lot of people associate Palo with parang, I guess.
Yeah.
Because they I mean, down there when they go down there, I talk about during the year, men with shak and mac and quattro and things.
Most areas are like that.
Yes, serious.
I feel Brazil and things,
Yeah.
and some parts of Arima, Rancho Queimado, Parang, Carapal,
Yeah.
which is the from Palace.
Right.
But like second and third generation Venezuelan immigrant offspring.
Oh, so are you all
So
immigrant?
grandfather is Venezuelan.
Okay.
Came married as a baby, and so but that whole Venezuelan, and again, being it's a spiritual thing to be Roman Catholic. You find the parang in a rural area like Palo Seco, it's not a commercial thing.
No, that's the music of basically music of the home.
It's a socio-cultural.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I remember some years ago, I talk about line going on downstairs and there's a level parang and I like,
Anytime
wait now, we in what, May, April, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
You know, and the thing about it is, wait now, who hold up between...
And that's the question in the kid, which you put that out in the comments as a competition.
A competition? I have no idea. All I know is saying the last two, but I have no idea who older than who because... Well, boy, that goes to show that a question been asked for quite some time now. Nobody can get a straight answer. And if you know these fellas are them big money, I'm telling you, straight answers just come around a corner with them. They don't come straight to you unless you want to, and especially when it comes to talking about music.
Yeah, talk about the parang. I want to really emphasize one of the positives about parang. Similar to steel band movement to it. There are some entry-level positions. You can join the parang band just clapping and answering chorus.
I hear that. Yeah,
And while then if you're clapping in time, and the leader just say clapping in time, like you're talk.
yeah. That's if you're good.
And you tell them, Marak,
And it's a thing for you doing it. Chorus.
Yeah.
you get 2 goals and you go through,
Yeah.
and there's this progression.
And all this happen.
That is a good
You
vibe.
see a guy playing a mandolin, a parang band, trust me.
He starts
You
from
get the guitar, quattro, Marak, box bass.
Yeah.
so it's like a graduation phase and in school. But that's good because you see the thing about it again. I would call it country life where you get more value of living in country because people will really encourage you and teach you as you go along and involve you in stuff. Not like now somebody nowadays everybody want to leave you out of this and leave you out of that. You know, it's a crazy kind of vibe.
Conclusion. And of course with the parang, and I mean, the thing is, you have this little jam session in the middle of the authentic parang. You might do a little kaisola with them. So
In the mix.
after you do the something to the house, you know,
Clubbing.
Wow.
so guys do the things start to now get to the local scene now.
All right. But so now you all, I mean, there's so much as you know. I tell you now, you really actually supposed to do one at a time. 2 of them at the same time, man. This is a serious kind of piece of what you call a serious andaranga here right now. This is a serious piece of palang here right now because at the end of the day, both of them had the individual lives post ban and that kind of thing, which is a story by itself. But having both of them here gives now the opportunity to actually see where they grew from as brothers into the music industry and how it all started and everything from a dual perspective. You understand? Because I'm sure even growing up and all, you all have probably different experiences band-wise even before.
Also, more profoundly, the same experience would have impacted us differently.
Yes. That was what I was looking for. Politically correct. You understand?
And
Grammatically correct. Putting everything into perspective and it's serious. But so now all in Palo, all in jamming, grew up in the whole scenario. Your dad was the music, the instrument maker.
Yeah.
He was the music. He was a musician, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was claimed to be the one man parent band.
Yeah, he going and jamming.
From Sando to Erin.
Yeah, non-stop.
And it's a place several instruments of what we were told. I remember vaguely.
At the same time.
The same time.
No.
Shaq time. Play shop. Play to the about touch the quattro.
What?
Yeah.
You serious?
Yeah. It was like we can play pan as well.
That's so no doubt where the musical inclination and everything come from. So teenage years, school. I mean, obviously you went to school in Palo and that kind of thing.
Yeah. He went Palo Seco secondary, but we went to the same primary school.
Right.
Palo Seco government primary. He went to Palo Seco secondary. I went to Sapphire junior secondary and Sapphire senior secondary.
You were junior second. Oh yes, but I forget. Back in them days, junior second.
Yeah. 5 years.
Yeah. Right, boy.
What I want to mention to tell you the chronology of how things happen now.
Yeah.
So the parent started with the halfway thing, the dabbling, the kaiso thing and so on. But then another great institution we have in Trinidad and Tobago happened next.
What is that?
Best Village.
Aye. Oh.
Yeah, Best Village was that theatrical experience.
Yeah. But
So we had to do the lines in the play and things.
oh yes, but I mean, from school, from primary school, you always had to be in. Once you're into that, into music and that kind of thing, they're looking for you first to come and sing something or play some kind of thing.
Interacting with the other disciplines in the arts, you know, the dancers, you see the choreographer, and then you have to know when you play music in a Best Village theatrical setting, you have to know do a music now to go with the dance.
Well, of course.
Whole production.
Yeah.
So everything is out being,
So you're just playing now just for fun and
Yes. Serious. I know. I was involved in Best Village, so again, country life.
Yeah.
You know, you had to be involved in things that are. Yeah.
There are people more talented, just like you mentioned in Paran. In Best Village, you have who are actors, who are drummers, who are dancers.
Yeah, you have to be.
Could sing.
And if it's one thing about Best Village, you have to be on point when they come into them thing, because the people who the teachers at that time or the tutors at that time, they were very serious.
Yes.
I was serious about the thing. Don't come and play Skylark wrong here at all.
You can see a lot of people who came out of that area and they act. Singers, dancers, actors.
Palo Seco has produced some prominent entertainment artists and things as well, musicians as well.
Yeah. So the Southern Peninsula especially.
The thing about country life too, we really don't see borders in the villages now. So yes, we from Palo Seco, but from Point Fortin to Mount Diablo to Separia, yes. So we can say that if somebody say you from Separia, you're just like this area.
Yeah, because
Southwest Peninsula.
Well, but I know some people who are very, very, very passionate about where they're from. Because if you tell a man who's from Palo, he's from Separia, you say, hey, that man from Separia, say, hey, man, I'm down there. I'm from Palo, big man. You understand? But I mean, I understand the love that you all have down there.
Sometimes I meet people away from Palo. And they're going to answer for me. And I say, yeah, that's for me. Then you listen to song. And it's good at me.
So those Best Village groups, sometimes it's Mount Diablo, sometimes it's under Separia, under Captiville.
With combined.
Yeah, but that's just where the group acted, the performers coming from the neighboring villages.
So what you used to do in the Best Village zone? Play what? I mean, I your drums. I listen. Where I came from was drums and dancers. We had nothing else.
We did instruments, Paran segments, back and choir, played for people, did solo pieces, did music in the background. I remember I played a mandolin for Chinese, for dance. In Best Village.
That is, listen, ladies and gentlemen, that is not an easy thing. Just understand the language. Mandolin for Chinese. Where we going with that? Them fellas alone. Like I say, when I tell them, they make magic. They just make magic and anything with that string, big man. I can tell you that from the time that I knew them up to now, and they went before that. And as they say, they went since 4 years old, coming up here. Even before that, since in the womb coming out here. But now, they're outside and they're running. So I want to get to the not really the meat, but I want to get more. Yeah, on the next phase.
Yes.
Because I mean, from school, primary school, I'm sure all investors from primary school is going on.
But school competitions, of course.
Well, look at that.
As well.
Who's singing?
We singing.
You see? Well, I know you don't see why you know.
Yeah.
Primary school, I play in Okocho, accompanying people are taken back.
Same thing as well.
It went to from primary school to junior sec, senior sec. Same thing, accompanying people and playing for myself and singing.
I would imagine from Point Fortin, Palo, all those areas, everybody would have known you too.
Yeah, I work within the schools and them areas too.
So, and again, would you all have been chosen to go, all right, hey, Point Fortin needs so and so and so and so, they send all your point to go and
Up to
organize?
Yeah, I see there's an interconnection too, because very often from the Best Village group, some of the teachers from the respective schools who are the movers and shakers for culture would have been in the group too now.
Yeah, understood.
So usually it's right there now.
Yeah.
Whether in the church choir and
Everything was that interlocked and that from right.
Yeah.
Wow. And so, and your parents, of course, parents have no problem with
Yeah.
you guys.
I'm sure it will be the same in your village as well. The Best Village groups used to be managed by a very reputable person
in the community,
Retired school principal, retired senior policeman.
Down by us was Selwyn. Selwyn, up to now, Selwyn's still in Best Village, and Selwyn is looking at the older than he was then 20.
Yeah.
So I'm always my age now, I'm nearly 50. And I'm in Best Village since primary school. I involved in the arts. You know, my dad and all was involved in the arts and that kind of thing. But Selwyn was the person that everybody would have gone to. And I went down there the other day, I said, but this man ain't getting old at all. I'm going on this man. Selwyn ain't getting old at all. I'm sure within your village as well, who's still around, you know what I mean? People.
Yeah, and the thing too is, see, why this foundation is important to communicate. And because when we get into the commercialization of the music and the career now, that is those are the institutions.
Keep you grounded. Yes, so for me and keep you grounded as well. Because when they get inside, they're easy. Yeah, country boy come the tongue kind of vibes.
It's important to follow to the current musicians and artists to understand that the ones they see, we didn't just jump out yourself.
Yeah, it was not Instagram post, it was not TikTok post. Yeah, it was no post. Yeah, them fellas have used taxi.
A lot of people that ask questions up to the day, you know, and do the comparison with Ecstatic, and it's not like people say, you know, the development and the transition, everybody, I say what's the farmer now, percussionists and this and that. You know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's the reason why I wanted both of you all here to get the experience from you guys, because again, there's a lot of history that was created by you all, and when we get to that part, people understand. But really is like that. Yeah. That is the thing, because you both now have also created a. Well, I mean, probably continued what was going on from before with other people and other bands, like for instance the Dutchy Brothers and thing with that section of it. But you all were staple in the industry from a very young age. Like literally, man, I hear stories about you all without even knowing you all. And then when I get stories, you know, about the brothers, them Rivers brothers, and them by bad and everything.
Well, Marshall,
and how that started from school?
From home, like we told you before.
I mean, with getting into the band.
Yeah. Like my experience was going to Palo Seco. I was in Form 2, so I would have been like 12, 13. Yeah. And Marshall Mob Elizabeth Mandan was the guy that sort of sent into Palo Seco. And she came to me at I was in the music group. I live in the music group.
Yeah.
So she had a son who was singing and whatnot, and she would take my evening after school. Yeah, you know, I had to find out from mommy first.
If you could come?
If I could come. So the next day after school, I was on morning shift. Organized the day after school. And still, but I think I came home, and then she came and picked me up. Because we could have been going to boys' school at the time. Because it's standard 3.
You're really young. Really young.
It's standard 2. And the one was standard 2, I believe. And well, not the evening and the event thing. And that time he was also involved with Ashford Joseph, the late Ashford Joseph. We got a lot of other artists as well. And yeah, him sing and that guitar. It became a thing going on an evening, 2-3 evenings a week. But him practicing. And guys like his brother Marcus was living there. He was living over the road in the house. First German, and next time every part was living on the corner house. People right around. You know, when you saw that a few times, you know.
This is a barrier?
Yeah, they live separate. They live in Palo Seco.
Right, yeah.
You know the brother, big brother thing? The brother thing, where I go all the time he want to go. And they have to come my evening.
Yeah.
The time I was playing guitar.
Oh, serious? What DJ basically?
He was playing quattro.
Okay.
Yeah, and coming and going with me, and next thing the thing started out like the neighbors around, you know, Mr. Shack and Master Milo, the house behind Marshall and them at the time.
They were okay.
They
were group sisters?
They were babies.
But that's what I'm saying, they were real young. How to be real young?
That's when we started and all that. Yeah, and that's even before, the band had no name.
Okay.
That's when they came when we come together and decide first give a birthday party and have a concert in the church and that kind of thing. That's what it was. I remember we had a toy drum kit. And the drum make a roll and the thumb roll off.
But yeah, I want to say too, context. You know, people need to really appreciate the context of that information. And this is back in the early 1980s now.
Yeah.
You know, I'm actually at about 12.
Yeah.
You know, just 2-3 years away from me and so on. So like my age was like the average age.
Right.
So like Farmer Happy, that first drummer was also Darren Henry.
Wait, hold on. I missed that part.
Yeah, two Darren Henry.
Yeah, two Darren Henrys. One day was the 5th to the 6th, and the other was the 6th to the 5th. Yeah, they were same age, same year. Living but one street away from each other.
And not related.
Not related.
I wouldn't say anything about that. I think somebody had to check either the father or somebody had to check something. But
for those of us who are around can recall, like in the early 1980s, you really didn't have young people listening to local music.
Oh, you mean foreign? Yeah, everybody is foreign.
Yeah,
foreign.
The school break.
Yeah.
So while it's something like some big achievement now, in 1982, 83, 84, it was no rank. I wasn't any more popular by being part of a real band, playing quattro, playing guitar, with little percussion. I've been doing mostly local repertoire.
See, also everybody else, basically everybody else was doing foreign things.
So our fans and our friends' grandparents.
That is how you twist that. Hey, but then again, them is real people because the older folks now know good music.
Yeah, but at 13 and 14,
you playing that kind of music and
you want to be appreciated by your peers.
Yeah.
So you know, they get the fellas.
Them fellas are all there. Them fellas, old people out there, young people out there. But then all they take the culture serious, all they grew up in that, so hey, if not, why not?
Here's where the part we talk about with the para and the best village and so that is the source we tapped into.
To show the para and everything became one. It was the last record of just over Sandra with Marshall. We basically arranged and did everything on all the instruments and that one.
Where were you all? So hold on. Hold on. That's plenty. That's plenty. The question that I had just went really low. Daisy was
last vocal recorded was Super Santa.
With Marshall.
Yes.
And you all.
We were going home. I played bass, Shaksa Quattro, he played guitar, Quattro, Shaksa.
Where you all recorded this?
By Kenny.
Oh,
okay. But he was in the Philippines that time.
Yeah. Right. That's what I mean.
I think part of the pre-recorded, we did some of home.
Yeah.
The idea is to carry up the amplifier and practice it. Come up with the idea, build it.
So you all are arranging music from very young?
Yeah. yeah. For Marshall's, four, remember Royal Bank had this 4 project. In school is at 4.
It is.
Yeah, they did that project and see if we did about turtles at some point in time.
Okay.
Yeah, we also did the musical arrangements of that. Yeah.
Wow. So to you, again, the Wonder Brothers, if it's call it that way, I don't know how, because people, even me, like in Saparia or Faizo, or Santa Flora and these places, right? There would have been some time. So of course, this is junior halls.
Yes.
We would have had conversations back then, like I say, and I would have found out stuff about you all, because you all were, although you all were country boys, regular people, whatever the case is, you all were actually like up there now in people's eyes in the area. You all were up there in terms of the music, even before the whole ecstatic and that kind of vibe. You all were, they ask anything and anybody want music, and then, hey, check the rivers and them down the road. It's always something. So where did the arranging and writing come from? Do you all write as well?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all in music, so you think that's automatic? That was automatic, but that's killer. Here we go.
We have native trade begonias, and you must also know both Finn and I to do an next tempo.
Jumping on the scene, and one time after intervene, the river will continue to flow, and that's why it would be good example.
So it was as easy as that for you.
In terms of the development, one of the things that the early stages with Panasonic Static, Monty when Samantha was an even lady, was very instrumental with us in terms of development with our craft and talent. So same time with them in Napi and the drum at the time used to go by Toby Tobias for drum lessons and Diego Martin at the time. We used to go theory lessons and to read and that kind of thing.
So you all actually had formal training in it as well. Yeah.
Exams and things.
Nice.
What I need is, degrees of Julia and stuff and things. But we would learn music literacy.
Yeah, well that's...
It was mandatory.
Well,
so, however, Brad, and this is good for anyone who's part of the team of upcoming, especially younger artists. So where we work for, we would have had our comps open for us in the... And then there was the council employee spirit too.
Wow.
So
wow.
Our comps open for us there. So this is your earnings. A certain percentage goes on your account. You will get a certain percentage, and also our development. And that's what artist management really is about.
It is.
Developing and ensuring the artist improves and adds value to the artist, the client, So Mr. Bluhola was that first person. We had theory and piano lessons and all these things.
Wow.
And she was excellent because...
From Saparia as well?
Yes. Villavera Street. Yeah. She was excellent because she was able to take what we knew organically, respect it, and just formalize it. So she never, let me say, made disparaging remarks.
Oh, I hear that.
About our homegrown self-taught methods. This,
Yeah, she kind of structured, she kind of teach you all structure.
Yeah.
Because you all would have been, naturally talented, and then she kind of help you out, which is a dangerous thing for a musician.
Yeah.
That is make this musician, he could sit down and listen to you talk a mile or whatever you figure you know. And by the time now you educated as the musician naturally, and then have that formalized, man.
Well, let's see that as well. In the early stages, we had 3 guys from the police band that was playing horn solos. That was Chubby, Glenroy Phillip, Errol Singh, and Villa Farmer.
But hold on, this is which band? This is before they actually formed a band itself, or this was just...
The Ecstatic.
Oh, Ecstatic.
So it's the transition, it's a little more now.
Oh, okay.
Because the more skill we develop, the more exposure. I've got a lot of listening to. Must give Marshall a lot of credit for that. Yeah. He was always researching, listening, especially outside. So we would have been listening to Jackson 5 and because we had no other children band.
Yeah, exactly.
We look at the adult bands.
Yeah, of course.
Rev and so on and so on. Yeah.
But the Panasonic Express, how did that how did from well you did say when the things had a form,
Yeah.
it didn't have a name, but you're friends, you're and I think that's something
because
like a family basically.
I being two from Palo Seco.
Yeah.
Everybody else was supporting the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So we started to go there now and the things started to get serious. Neighbors started to hear us. We were the first one to play the party and then the church concert. And we started to realize that we're going in one direction, you know. Started to develop and thing. And both Liz and Monty and myself probably started, hey, this thing is so the youth and them are putting
The very
we started, spending money from his personal, which is what only development took place. An instrument. We didn't top of the line, but we had to go to the hook.
Yeah, got it.
And but we realized the development taking place, everybody individually, the demands have to become the lie and more and more. It's like a product, that is that product.
Yeah.
You put something to sell out there.
But you're just having fun at the time, basically. Yeah, you're sort of
But it was serious fun, man.
Yeah, well,
when we started dream and share these dreams, like we would sit and like imagine and hear it all down. Boy, that flight from England was real long, boy. We don't even know it.
I know.
And it's like,
But it was really
there's a guy I want to mention to Roland and the Bokas. I think he's doing a damn playing guitar sometimes these days.
Don't you know my church?
You're right. Yeah. And like the first electric guitar I ever held and played was his. So he had some instruments, you know.
Yeah.
And he allowed us to use until we were to buy our own.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I guess us showing that we were serious about our intentions and putting in the work and being professional as much as we could be at that age and stage.
Yeah.
Adults around. And again, all these are like little tutorials too. It's like if you want to be taken seriously, you have to take yourself seriously.
Seriously, first. Yeah. Facts.
You know what I mean? And others will jump in and see your effort and add it.
So within this zone now, all from Palo, all had to go in Zaparia. Right? So how much time was that about it had phone in them days, So it is a landline. A phone booth. Yeah.
Hold on, you have to there's one time a man who have some new girlfriend and he have a whole bag.
A bag of bubble boy. Yeah, boy. I mean, the thing about it, the girl always living out of the area, so you had to be on that phone. But plenty of time, I show plenty of times, I say, my daddy, when I always say, daddy, well, we ain't coming home tonight, we finish practice late. That used to happen?
It just, we turn up
any kind
over.
Any excuse to stay.
A standard structure. And then it had a schedule because people studying. Even though when I finished school, I said they were still going to school, so we had to respect that time. And let's just do class, those other people's students something.
Okay.
Time for real start, time for study. I know the structure. When time for study, we can't be around. Then come by the house.
There were times like if you make a little island trip on the weekend, like something snatching. In that flight, there is an early morning flight the Monday morning. Sometimes, like, those of us in school, on that flight from Barbados or wherever,
you book out? What shucks?
And from the airport straight to school.
Wait.
I know embarrassed because when my friends say, well, how the weekend was. But I went to Martha's Beach. I my aunt and Tom. And they just don't want to upstage and say, well, I don't know if I fly from
They say, get them some kind of action. I mean, not this weekend. So there's a youthful, the band going or just see?
We started to tour, we were,
What age? Just the Panasonic Express. Panasonic Express is the first name that you all get.
So Prana Homes is the community where Marshall the back areas. And I met, life. And so we used the Prana And because they had Panasonic, the electronic brand.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, we have Panasonic.
Express.
Oh, it was Panasonic, not Panasonic. No, I don't. But I always thought.
Volt Express and those other brands. So,
Well, all it take.
People think it's Panasonic, but the area they were living in is Prana Homes. And they did
Information for your money.
That's one of the reasons why it had to change, because there were too many promoters, graphic people putting it wrong.
They were putting Panasonic.
Yeah.
Panasonic, sorry.
We started to develop too. And we Panasonic kind of outgrew it.
Oh, okay. How long that lasted for? How long that name lasted for?
3.5 years.
This was 80s or 90s?
80s.
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah, we started in the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Late 80s.
Early 80s.
Early 80s, yeah.
Early 80s, yeah. My master took part in the march of to Super.
That's 87.
86.
86, yeah.
86.
Yeah.
I would rather, that's the same year, yeah.
Yeah.
So, we were.
So you all up Panasonic Express since then?
Yeah.
And then changed Ecstatic since then?
From 87, 88, 87.
Just after that.
Yeah.
You lie.
There's actually a video on YouTube now with us in the stadium.
Yeah.
Some yellow outfits and things.
What-
And all that, yeah.
What kind of, what concert was that?
What did Lionel Richie?
It had to be an international concert.
It was.
Roots was on the show too.
Yeah.
Had to be an international show. Anything in the stadium?
St. Paul's. If I must say, some big
Because all they keep up big at the arm.
Yeah. Marshall played and sing Say You Say Me. He played drums and sing that song.
So Lionel Richie?
Yeah, so it was not like that Richie show.
Okay.
I remember him singing that song.
He do what? He
He
played
played drums and songs, Say You Say Me.
So he musically inclined as well?
There was a band competition in Lions.
Party vocalist.
Well, I saw that's on YouTube
Yeah,
right now. I saw that video.
So down at the end,
When he switched.
The whole band.
Oh yes. Yeah. Yeah. I saw that. What who was some of the members of the band, boy? I mean, so you don't call the two Darrell Henrys.
Yeah, Foundation was the
you
Darrell Henry.
Yeah.
And then by the back, then Joseph Morrison, the first female singer.
Probably the only one in the band?
No, Shinakwa came in after and Melanie Hudson.
Shinakwa.
We said 14.
Richard Butcher there.
Yeah, Shinakwa.
Before my time, I was in primary school probably.
Then we had foundation members who migrated, and then Chad Fraser, living in the States. Shervon Alexander Castle, he migrated too. And the way the players are going, and nice to kind of get together, reunion of Toku.
Yeah.
Dwayne Farley.
Slick.
Yes, yeah.
Slick.
He left here, but we were in school of us on school. From an Slick, Pablo Dalheny, Dwayne, we shall focus on all of us went to the same secondary school.
Oh, it's a barrier. Yeah, it's a barrier. But
Yeah, Marcus went to the same secondary school.
Yeah. Yeah, we would have had people too who were not on stage but were involved. So like, because of Ashford Joseph's involvement, so Tune to Soca was written by Joker,
Thanks for the win.
right? But what's for the beats?
Yeah. Okay, but no, that is when so the Vince he writes for he wrote for Trini and all that. Yeah, plenty people.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but the background vocals, Chad Hunt, Genevieve Pereira, and
Peter.
Kita Hunt.
Yeah. Her brother was singing in the band. She did that open and that's victory.
Yeah, they would have performed on the recording
Yeah.
and some of the live competitions and stuff.
Not forget next year and
Yeah.
this one and somebody else.
Yeah.
Competition.
And everybody even the same so
We went through transition.
over a period of time.
About migrated, you know, and then the boom blossom days, which would have been in the 90s, you know, come up.
Well,
I think the 94 up, they coming up.
Well, I've been trying to hone in on some records to get back now that era of Ecstatic. Now the thing about it is, I remember Ecstatic from 90. Just the other day we were talking about that. When did the Men at Work album and all them things come out now?
Yeah.
Right?
Chop.
Well, no, Big Chop. Men at Work was before.
Yeah.
That is the Maloney.
Take up our.
The Maloney building.
Yeah.
With the box.
Right. So that video now, we sit down and big argument break out. I say, big man, everything on YouTube now, and I can go and find that information.
Yeah.
But the thing about it with YouTube, we don't have the correct year when that particular video was done.
Yeah.
So we were back and forth between. Either 94 95. 94 95.
94 by all means.
By all means, was 94 or 95? 94?
Yeah.
So
That record. Now, so we speed up a little bit. So my concern, or actually my thing is, Ecstatic officially started. The name Ecstatic came in the 80s.
Yeah.
88, 87, 88, 89, yeah.
I am positive that a lot of people don't know that.
No.
Because everybody thought about the Ecstatic was so like seen in the 90s.
That's when we peak.
So one of the other things that is important to note as well is that Ecstatic Limited is a registered liability company.
Right.
Limited liability company.
Yeah.
Which again is a kind of new thing because other banks may have been managed or owned by legitimate companies, but the bank itself
Self was owned.
was not a registered name.
Yeah, okay.
You know? But again, kudos to Liz and Monty because they would have been researching a lot foreign models, international standards and so on, to ensure that we were in a organized legal structure, so we had accountants and this and that.
But from the outside looking in at the band, right? Even with that party vocal competition and all kind of thing, and other things that were of that nature, the band was the youngest of the existing bands out there.
Young bands too, you know. But other young bands.
Like everybody was already. I mean,
but
from what I know,
it's not another young band, but they probably was not became as popular as us.
And they met us.
What is you saying?
Yeah.
And your time when
they came across. So like in Tennessee, even with Jack
But if you get a band now, it's in Fisher.
Yeah, so they don't have been as popular prominent.
Yeah.
But they would have been in our age group.
Okay.
When we became like the
Sensation became a side of it. But you know.
Yeah.
No, but that was long after. Was it long after?
Even from Succession Brass, and then they would have had. So you would have these little groups. But again, I think we can take some credit for even encouraging like older teenagers and young adults
to get involved in
it.
Yeah, but this is what I'm saying, because you all, for me, I didn't see anybody else.
Some branches?
No.
Richard Branches from up in who?
Yeah.
Was Toko or
Grand River?
Grand River. Yeah.
God, they remember that. If you see this here, because go on the body with Eddie and all of that. From Manzanella.
Tidal Wave.
I name ya. Tidal Wave. I get on. Right, so I was in me.
Tidal Wave with Junior and was that after what do you call him, Mr. Famous?
Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Famous.
So they would have been an example
of our youth band as well.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
Because they know age group as well.
The age group, but they came after.
Yes. They would have met us.
You know, one time when we were partying, he was in school, not finished school.
Okay, but I mean.
So the interesting fun fact is that we were playing in parties before we were allowed to attend parties.
That's crazy. That's crazy. Because again, you all are very young. You're very young.
Even before Panasonic Express, my deceased uncle, which is my father, brother,
Right.
he was in the Peter Van Gogh playing an orchestra. Which would have been in the era of Dutchy Brothers. Yeah.
The 60s.
He was also my godfather. He was Peter Vincent Courtney. That's the reason my name is
Vincent.
Right. He's a tenor sax player. And just like eventually the vocalist came in with all instrumentals. And I was a roadie within my permanent chance time. 10, 11, 12. Yeah, before I started to junior set. So I had to go, and one day this is uncle come to check my dad, which is his brother. So what have you guys be doing in the time? He said, not really. Them come down on a Saturday. And I went up to help my cousins and kids clean the band room. You know, when the band play on the band, sweep out on the band, just on the equipment with the internet. And then, by that time I can't go to party like 11, 12.
Exactly.
But 10, 11. So what I used to do, the guy drive the van used to come down, I down there, load up the van, go to the venue offload, come back home with him. And then he'll pick me up or sleep by my aunt, 1 o'clock, pick me up 2 o'clock in the morning to go wherever the band palms or lions or whatever.
At 10 years old?
Yeah,
at 10 years old, we.
And that happened for a while. Then I could have stayed in the bus and sleep. Then I get up, I started playing on percussion.
Oh, and so you started coming in the party, though?
Teenager. Teenager.
I hear different strokes for different folks.
So like a black belt and thing. In a white ball, SWTU, and the balls and them had names.
Yeah. It was branded parties. I mean,
Back when we don't go into events to dance.
Yeah.
yes. Those were another. Not like no.
You had to look the part.
Yeah, you had a dress. I mean, we were even talking about it yesterday when you go to upper level and thing here. I mean, in my time, you go to upper level, you have to dress.
Yeah.
Soft pants, shirt, and shoes, no sneakers business. You can't go in those places and no hats and them
So I
kind of.
come to mention percussion. A lot of us in our time who play conventional instruments like guitar and keyboard and remotes started off on percussion.
Why?
Right, because what is the entry level position? You have to actually earn
Your position.
the right to touch what do you consider a real instrument.
I hear that.
You know?
I hear.
But in Latin American culture, playing percussion is a prerequisite because
Okay.
even the conventional recognized instruments have a percussive nature about it. So when I play guitar, I am thinking the percussion instruments.
Oh, so you playing it like a
For the
the strums and
the
things.
riffs, I'm locking rhythmically in the pockets of the groove now.
Nice. Now,
Section.
in other words, ladies and gentlemen, just in case if you don't know what he's talking about, it means getting in time with the thing to make sure it's song real good, tight. You understand? Just to simplify it.
And just to share some of the trade secrets, is a sound engineer really appreciates when the musicians are that sensitive and locked now.
The time.
It means you can have everybody up in the mix and present.
Yes.
When you
Everybody all over the place.
So
Yeah.
the keyboard is strong.
In other words, like a standing role and function.
That is why it was important for Miss Helen, is her name? Who structured you all musically in that sense?
Solder.
Miss Holder.
Yeah.
Miss Holder.
Yes.
Sorry, wrong name.
Yeah.
Miss Holder.
It's always look at that. If you remember, if you was a,
I'm not gonna tell you, big man.
if you ever noticed the late Junior Howard and Tony was two guitarists for Charlie Shoots.
Still.
I
I will go on definitely look at that.
It's amazing how they used to work. But we started like
There were two guitarists?
yeah.
So at the playing at the same time.
Right.
That's a lock.
And
Yeah.
they used to play some things that one man used to take away from the other than verbal.
Yeah.
It's a function.
Yes.
And I will tell you to confirm that point. Sean Joseph, who was the engineer,
Yeah.
he became our engineer.
Eventually.
And he'll be my roommate.
All right.
And so I would question, like, he would have both of them up in the mix. And he's the one that explained that to me.
Yeah.
Oh,
They were
okay.
making sense. They were having a conversation
Session with the two guitars, right? Good. So somebody saw answer and call an answer kind
And
of.
then I used to clash Phenom in his space, Tony in his space, Junior in his space. And the rest of the band was had an engine room.
But again, you see, the thing about it is back then, I would imagine that musicians were not rushing to get the sound out.
Musicianship at the end.
Yeah, okay.
The approach I don't value it was different.
Yeah.
They used to take pride in the craft.
Yeah.
And listening. You see, listening and being aware. Because many of the students or clients I would have who play and they might be at an intermediate or even advanced level where they come from a particular genre style. But how to be a better or more competent soca guitarist kind of thing. And the first question is, what is the drummer playing? What's the pattern in the snare drum?
Yeah.
What strum is the keyboardist playing? And the answer might be, well, me and I don't play no drum.
Oh, so that's what you asking them?
Yeah.
Oh.
So the thing is, if as a musician, you in your role, but you don't have an appreciation or even an awareness of what the other people you are playing with is doing.
Yeah, you lost.
You don't know where the space is.
Yeah, you lost.
Just playing.
Yeah, just playing. Yeah, and that's why you have the clashes.
Musicians do have.
Yeah.
So that's
Facts.
Everybody just want to be out there, just want to play, and I can play.
Yeah, they can play
Yeah,
something, but then they know the technique.
And that way, the band or the group members will have a song that I did.
Because this is what it is with you all with Ecstatic and back in the days. I mean, I guess you all would have patterned other bands were seriously involved in like I say, roots and.
I mean, recently I was on the Colero. You know? Find out.
What was good?
Get all that on.
There's another one, boy. Yeah, he looked the same way from since.
From this.
Yeah.
Because I was some random company, it was the original White Boy.
Yeah, well, of course.
And say, Dory, I know look watching me.
But they have to, you know, I remember when I just started radio as well, Eric St. Bernard asked me, he said, I'm going to ask you something now. Who do you listen to on radio? And my first reaction was, well, Chris Boynes. Now, 95.1 back in the days, as a youth man in Guaya, that one little Sylvania radio, it's small, so my grandmother radio, I used to be on top of the fridge. You remember them fridge long time with the freezer. And you pull it out, you see the freezer. Is that defrost the fridge every weekend? Defrost that fridge every weekend. I just walk on a Saturday morning to clean that fridge, clean the backyard. And I used to listen to Chris Boynes on 9-5 on a Saturday morning from 9 to 12 or 9 to 1 or something like that. And me not knowing, like, okay, well, I would have become, you know, even getting to work with Chris. That's the first question he asked me. I said, well, Chris Boynes. But automatically now, when I come in, that would have been my style. He said, I don't worry, no, because there's a reason why this is a reason why I chose you.
Yeah. Because
your style, and I know eventually you're developing your own style, which I did. What was it like for you guys working amongst the greats outside of the band Ecstatic? I know you all would have done other gigs with the late Leroy Callie's Black Stallion. Just to name one of the major, I know you all work with many. What was it like to work with these guys back then? Were they very meticulous and listen? They did a sound a particular way. Musicians used to get custom and get that thing back then.
Some of them were like that. Some of them are.
Yeah.
They pay attention to everything. Like I always share this experience with the great Lord Nelson. Yeah. And the thing about it, because like playing bass back then had definite, precise, accurate bass lines. So one note, a semitone. From here today, go make a difference.
One thing off.
But to make a difference. Play that part from it?
Yeah.
A brass man might get away with something. The guitar man just strumming. A particular part that sound like feeling it on the top or something.
Yeah.
But the bass part, the man just had to be in the pocket. One of the persons too, and that was one of my biggest challenge.
Oh yeah, music was.
The man they should play. That had to be on point. If it didn't like you, hold the fretboard and stop here. Yeah, it happened to me. It happened not with me. Youth mastermind in a show in front, right in Center Excellence. Yeah. We were playing for an event, and he wasn't playing what she wanted. And she told him, and the job and the bass and won't play.
Wait, live?
Live.
Yes. I'm in Canada with a racer, and David Rudder. Take the drumsticks. Sit down.
Yeah.
Get the job, sir.
You like.
Yeah, just to be on point.
Hey, big one.
Wouldn't sing, even though he had that snare pattern.
Yeah, because I know, because those guys and those artists from back in those days and entertainers from back in those days, I heard of some stories of these people that they very particular.
Yeah, Shadow.
But had a song. Well.
Shadow don't play bass and I don't know, I said that would be a good thing. But I tell you this, for years I played my lovers, one of the foundation tunes I learned. Dum 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 dum. And one time we were rehearsing some island, not that Ecstatic already. And he said, play that for me, dum dum, and he sang a same tune I played off for me.
Oh shucks. Oh shucks.
You know, after that, the whole song
changed. Oh shucks.
One note.
Yeah.
One semitone. And all the time I played the song for years and nobody ever told me. We used to know that rehearsal, some island, I think that's something. And there's a whole note.
And that is it. But the musician experience in a band is completely different. And I know the musicians have to always be on point when it comes to
Somebody
that.
artist, the approach is different.
Yeah.
It's that thing that I heard, plenty, like I admire with Jamaicans, and I remember from Byron Lee too, that even the late Rob, who was the Byron Lee, so rest in peace, bass player. I said, what are we EQ and Ampeg bass? And Ampeg was the brand at the time.
Yeah.
You know, Yamaha, Fender, when I made the guitar amp at the time. You know, and their high end or the treble or the high middle, that be almost close to zero. Like they got that wrongness on the song.
But their music.
Right.
Yeah.
So I watch the bass, the Ampeg head. It's have a marker that mark off where the spots should be.
Oh, is it just
And you not 2% left everything.
oh shucks.
So, like Trevor, was a person friend of mine who played for Bears. Whenever he in Trinidad, I pick him up, we meet, we carry him, we get food, whatever. And I need sound check. I said, Trevor, bass the song. The song is a one definite song. No matter where you go, where you play. And the see about certain fit.
That lies there. No, don't touch that, don't interfere, don't move that.
Understanding that again as an individual musician, that some people have an identity and the song, just like, and not just with him as a bass player. There's a thing with Gus the guitar, with everybody in the band. When they change members, the keyboardist will come in early trouble.
You know they say there's a saying that soca music is noisy. They say soca music is noisy, and I hear often people or engineers would say, all right, like for instance, Marshall like his music muddy or something like that, or his vocals muddy or something of the sort.
I'll give you one analogy to respond to that. People who don't have the experience or the palate have not grown accustomed will also say Calado is nasty.
Okay then, and that's the best thing in the world for me.
This is the thing. So really now is a matter. It's very subjective.
Yeah. Okay.
If you know your ears get tuned to music that have less stuff in it and is neater, and, you know, but alternatively for us, we grow accustomed to that.
Well, that is it. Because I know when we play, so as a DJ now, every time you go to song check, you put on either a steel pulse to song check, especially steel pulse. And not just any steel pulse. It's like they put a roller skate, stepping out to song check.
Yeah.
Either that and or musical youth.
16.
Right?
Yeah.
Put on that because men want to hear the bass thumping and this kind of thing.
Yeah.
But you will never, not even in carnival, and I tell you it's the song check with that song system.
What?
The song check with that soca. And I always try to figure out why.
Well, that's what I'm saying, but I did it before, and at a certain extent. I've gone to the point where I've seen certain things opposite to that with soca music. And I've always heard them use either some old one from before from the islands or something from the Bajans.
You're right. Burning Flames had a song was Nice Time.
Yeah.
Nice Time used to be so when that was one of the songs, one of the records. But when I got into these records, so you know you'll get a totally different sound from records, right? So rolling with Franz Audio Basics and such production songs and them fellas and them back when I was youth, they would, I am telling you, reggae, always a song check. And I'm like, and then they'll play the Burning Flames, some depending on where they go, a Burning Flames song. So you're right about that island. Something about the island music was different in quality.
I've always heard them use the song Big Belly Man by That Finger as one of the songs. And then back in the day records that have the components and the elements in terms of EQ in the system.
Okay.
The quality of it.
Nah, we never use that now.
Yeah.
But Joey, the question is right. In that whole mix, how you end up on guitar and you end up on bass, because it is a piece of the story that I want to be able to understand, because
So of course we young.
but yeah, but listen, I always know you been energy, right? But I looking back on that same thing in the competition, I said, but Joey's not back on this too. Real vibes, and all of us. So that when I see Rico now, I say, yeah, but they get up from Joey. Sure.
So when we're in the midst of the, okay, we've been looking at the big bands, we know what we're doing. We're watching the song rev and so on, especially song rev. Because they're tight, man. So then, the first option was to amplify the quattro.
That song's out kind of like crazy back then. But imagine.
The thing about humans, especially Trinidadian humans, we like to stay in the comfort zone.
Yes,
so you see that band to sound electric guitar and bass, you know?
Yeah. Oh, so you play that sure.
We're doing our next instrument now.
Yeah.
Changing up this thing, how we are accustomed with it.
Yeah.
You don't really recognize.
Nice. They need to do some changes. Yeah.
So we started about putting some gadgets to get the quattro to be amplified. And Devin play the bass, whatever part of it. We had a panelist doing the whole part. So we took, that's all of us for that. So we look at what's happening in the real world.
And use what all they have and
to make it.
Yeah.
It's a play bass, not on the guitar.
Nice.
So it's like, but after it was like, then Roland and the vocals come and put us in electric guitar.
Yeah.
So really, I can tell you, personally, I reluctantly
went to guitar. Serious.
String this hard metal by a nice force, so string this. I know this now.
Yeah.
It's kind of look at this, what the electric guitar thing is by shock, man.
I started to put my thumb and started to get cold with the quattro.
Again, the next lesson here is about really
being able to adjust
and accepting to come out of that comfort zone.
Yeah.
So you know,
I know it.
And the first thing that shows, boy, it all madness, we announced spectacular. Opening in second half. But turn to soca, you know, thing, and well, Roy Kim is the back and back for the tent.
Like the big band.
So we are used to be standing, Frankie Francis, the lead on saxophone. He was always right behind me now. And I mean, the machine come to set up, and he be saying down there, give a little talk now. Yes. Encourage your talk, you know?
Okay.
Yes, I'm going good. Keep it up. When I listen back that recording now, I get out that tune. You can be dancing and playing.
Yeah.
Love from Frankie.
Yeah. Well, that place that good. We go back in them days, that man will waste it on one time, you know.
Roy Cape, especially that era, Roy Cape, with Jurity and keyboard,
Joey Samuel on drums.
Yeah, those guys were always really encouraging.
Okay, nice.
You know, lead Roy himself too. Even if you have to give you a constructive criticism,
you get in that.
he put you aside.
Okay.
And he usually precedes the criticism with a compliment.
Yeah.
That's what you call encouragement. That is not killing your vibes or your spirit.
Going good, very good. They're writing the music nice. Next time, just be careful. Like your voice going on, right?
Yeah.
Next time, just pay attention.
Yeah.
You're going good.
Yeah. And I mean, that alone goes to show not everybody is ultra critical, you know what I mean? Because now is literal war going on. Man want to throw you, they will make sure you end playing the next gig or you understand? But it's other thing.
Evolution of the thing.
But it's so I mentioned this before, but they were saying this to me when I came off radio. Coffee, you can't stay out of the thing, you know. Don't complain about what's going on now because you left it. You were supposed to be there to remain and ensure that them fellas take a certain part to go down the road and follow the thing. Now, but you decide to leave, so don't complain now. That is why I didn't get that, like, geez and rice, but it makes sense.
But there's another option too, which is to be part of the training and development of the World Cup.
There you go. It is.
Is that. Because, you know, I'm certain that, you know, as
but some of them don't want to hear you. We were more receptive as youths and respectable to our elders back then.
Yes.
No? Them fellas feel they know everything. Across the board is what I'm saying. But somehow I figure people from the country have a little bit more discipline. And passion for what they do. You know, but now again you have to really work harder, 10 times harder to get very long time. If somebody don't want to listen to you, you especially when you get too clout and just basically.
Technology and the ease of communication internationally, I think that is the underbelly of it. It perpetuating and encouraging that kind of mediocrity in skill now.
Yeah, it is. It is easy.
Technological
Take away, boy.
I think we'll talk another day. Why to read another AI?
How?
ChatGPT.
How? Let me go down to this one. How you all would have adjusted to doing 3 and 4 and probably 5 fets in one night? How all is a make out, boy?
Logistics, you know.
How is a make out?
Yeah, that's true. At the time, I would have had no idea.
Serious? Yeah, that's move.
That Jonathan pumping.
No, yeah, and I was saying, in terms of the delivery, but the logistics of getting there, like Sean Joseph, I get the engineer. So Sean had earned a reputation when all bands were using the same sound system and getting a band ready the fastest. Like it was not finished play, in like 3 minutes Sean ready to go. So I said,
how is it that?
So he said, yeah, do you understand why? Once again, the kick drum and then the singer mic, I can start.
Because I saw you guys, I mean, I would have seen you guys in the 90s, the mid-90s section playing, and you all would leave.
No, I tell them, Monty is still excellent when it comes to logistics.
Management. Yeah.
And that's a skill that a lot of management teams may not see as being a feature or quality now.
Yeah.
Logistics.
The same thing you talked about with back in the era, it was records. And now we have more people and there's less equipment.
Yeah.
Monty used to do what 4 or 5 men doing now, Monty alone used to do. Equipment, first reach, last to leave. Yeah. Every time we had a party in the paddock and Samuel Jack was the keyboard player and forgot keyboard in this.
Yeah, Samuel was the extra.
Yeah. Steve was supposed to pack it and he took it in the studio and Steve thought, typical the case now we are and when we reach
a very pressure.
and we play sponge. Monty goes to time, Monty said coming up.
And the banner was where?
It's Savannah.
No, but where the banner was?
Savannah.
What?
Yeah, they are Rex.
Jesus.
And we set up and thing. And in the middle again levels, Monty was back with the keyboard.
Jesus. And they had no cell phone back in them days.
Yeah.
Monty had cell phone. Yeah, call a man to meet you halfway.
I would just sometimes too, we would have like a second and third set of equipment set up at the other venues now.
Yeah. All right. So at least when they reach there, know everything, just to get in and jam.
Police escort too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, hey, this was like,
that wasn't so commonplace.
No, of course not. But again, it was ecstatic.
Yeah.
Ecstatic was, I mean, it took over from the era of the song rev and the that kind of vibe, because the Charlie's Roots and thing, so Ecstatic was the band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Not even, and not only just the band, Ecstatic was the youngest band in the whole area things. Fan base of monster. I look at videos that you all performing away. I mean, what was them kind of experiences like? Artists perform and artists will perform, but I just wonder how the musicians just make out by. How does make out?
Time again, we used to enjoy what we was doing. It was fun. And again, it has something here, the section, the 3 section, the front line, the guitar line, and the back line. Each section had a name.
Yes. So it was a healthy competition.
Yes, we used to have
teams now.
We used to use those people dances at the front line, Yeah, so to some we have your moves.
We would call us the dream team.
You have to call him the
guitar line?
Yeah.
Marcus you play guitar too?
Yeah.
Oh yes, was 2 guitarists in the band and shoot. What the?
Marcus with he was lead.
Yeah. So we our thing going on.
Yeah. And then at the front line, then at the back line,
them the percussionist, the drummer, and the keyboardist.
Yeah, so whenever in front there was a competition between the front line and the dream team.
Yeah, so wait now, hold on, right? So when Sean came in his own, or Sean was there from the
Sean, no. Sean, Wayne and Marshall.
Yeah.
That was a particular era.
Yeah.
That would have been
In the 90s.
early 90s.
Yeah, 92, 93. Something. Yeah.
Kind of mid-90s, I
Yeah.
would say.
And they run right down to
And then after
yeah.
then Peter C came in.
Right.
Clearly.
But what did you all? I mean, with members changing in the band, was there any kind of a little, like fellas coming and into ecstatic and real timid and shaking and all the other leveling those and things?
I mean, Wayne came in for the next recipes. Wayne came in out of church and Jack brought Wayne to the band. Wayne was really interesting in the church.
Never seen soca before.
Weddings and
Never sing soca before.
You did not go to the band just for the audition.
Yeah.
We came to the audition and long sleeve shirts, suspenders.
Properly well dressed.
Yeah.
What? So wait now, were there auditions for band members?
Yeah.
Proper thing, so nobody can link up to come in and when other audition.
You had to go through
You had to go through proper audition. So, or you all were in essence a really professional band.
the game.
No Skylark, no.
In that time, it's on stage. Okay, so another little fun fact. You all would have been responsible for our repertoire, talking about DJs.
Oh, how come?
Because if you remember,
Based on how well they play.
the repertoire, we were the first band to do a full set, 45 minutes without stopping.
Non-stop. I remember that.
We do have from DJs.
I remember that.
Again, trance, a DJ will play.
You all are actually the first band to run
Yeah.
tunes
Yeah.
after tune after
We
tune.
listen DJ, our DJ would mix
Yeah.
and do that.
I guess
Next thing I used to do too, be a musical director.
you were the musical director in the
yeah.
band. Yes.
And I used to listen, I used to deal with keys, transition of keys, the arrangement. So I would put
That's why we would look at tempos.
Well, yeah, BPMs. Yeah. Oh.
And then even the transition from one song to the next, a piece of old song might come between to bridge it to the same key or the same concept.
Yeah, because you all used to run hard, boy. I mean, like the fet used to be going non-stop, and which was appreciated now from our aspect. You understand? But because it was a one song and a thing in between, and then
the next thing is that too. We used to have the program in chunks. So they have one in a section of ABCD, 1, 2, ABCD, whatever. And we would say, I'd be starting like this. According to who play before us.
The last song the DJ play.
Yeah.
that determined all this that
Marcelo pull down and say, Vin, bring the paper.
and switch up.
And switch one time.
The more the vibe.
So then what we know, we put it on top. What on top, we put it in the middle. We still flip.
Yes.
So I just go to whoever doing the machine or whatever and tell them, hey, you move it this way, tell them quick, hey, this part.
But on stage, I remember what fet was this boy? Was it an army fet? I can't remember. I think it was an army fet, right? But that is latter. That is latter ecstatic. We were still in the band and everything. And when you see ecstatic coming anywhere, big man is ecstatic. You had a back in our corner, do something, make room, because the squad coming through and they coming through busy, right? Go wherever distributive, especially if it's time to go on stage. Yeah, when I'm mixing matters at all, right? So I remember this time, boy, and it was one of the rare moments. I don't know if it was I don't know if it was designed or planned over. Myself and Maggie was army fit. 20-something thousand people, 21,000, I think was the most, or 19,000, something like that, in Savannah. And big man, I was running a super blue session. But what Maggie and I were doing, one in, one out. He play a song. I play, well, back and forth, right? And he plays swanky, old school, a whole full old school session. And I started running, and I started. And he can't see, because he mic in, and he can't see. And I say, Maggie, I say, what's something? I say, here how things just be. All I want to see something right now, and then we start, boy. And one, I play a super. He tell me, he say, Coffee, what is the biggest super I can play? I say, well, it's not super, like going back to Blue Boy days. And so we started going, but all else coming on after. And that was 90s. And boy, it was time for it to come on. I think it was Wendell, used to be the stage manager,
Yeah.
Wendell,
Mr. Wendell.
yeah, Mr. Wendell, right? Yeah, you know, he was a kind of fella when it comes to, yeah, a kind of fella, nah. Right. Coffee is either he or Sinclair would have been, you understand? Right, boy, and he come to, right, last song, think they do whatever the case is. And we down in a session, boy, and we going so, and we the crowd going crazy because we drop into I start from Blue Boy, coming to Super Blue, and Super Blue 80s, and then coming to Super Blue 90s, and then going to cut us off now, right? So we now reach 91, 90 and 91. And Marshall sent to tell us, go for the next 10-15 minutes. Something that would have never happened many times at all because the level of vibe that we were creating,
yes,
with that kind of vibe, and he said, and he said to say, take a 10-15 minutes again or run out this session, run this year, and I think when all this started, by the party didn't drop.
It was right.
It was up there, so I guess I understand now what you're saying, what you all used to do.
And this vibe, so song is one thing. Like you want to play the correct chords and sing the correct words and that's fine. But you have to be now comfortable with the material to the point now where you can execute.
This
is now with the vibe and energy and the whole run and everything.
But I guess with the youthful age that you all were at, and you all were like the what do you call it, boy, the advanced version of the older bands. Because you're not youth on all the sides, so the creative thinking was always thinking always out of the box.
Listen, we were like musical Navy SEALs. So now this is lesson time, folks. So one thing we discourage is leaning. Is leaning, you know? And we discourage leaning, meaning each member had to be able to hold their own for the entire set without depending on a cue or some reminder from somebody else.
Oh, all right.
So in a certain period, if 127 seconds, like the 45 minutes, each person had to play the one of them, play them from the beginning to the end alone.
Guys in the rehearsal?
Rehearsal.
Or we should do it vocally.
Yeah. So the drummer, he had to go from the beginning to the end of the 45 minutes by himself. Nobody singing, nobody playing no guitar, no keyboard, nothing.
That is pressure.
Yeah, know it.
That is why you guys were like out of this, like really.
If he had no monitors, nothing, he know this.
So basically you're saying,
you know it.
Exactly.
Yeah. I sing all the words, I have to know the song.
Yeah, well, I mean, this.
That's why you hear something.
Every phrase, every cut, every.
Well, I would have seen sometime, you know, I mean, and the scene was on Marshall was a perfectionist. He is a perfectionist. But it's not just him alone as a perfectionist, because I guess the members of the band were perfectionists as well, because you guys would not want to miss that opportunity to not song with.
Every rehearsal. There was never a rehearsal where we just running through the motion.
How often we always rehearse?
It depends on the itinerary, on the schedule.
But at least twice a week.
Yeah.
At least.
Sometimes we need more time, we come in, we put down another day or a couple of days.
Alright. But that's.
As long as.
Wow. Damn. I mean, we have so much to discuss. We're not to run out. We're not to leave, all kind of thing. But I mean, I know during your time, we could brag for 5 minutes. You could brag you come back and finish all the vibes and thing, because at the end of the day, is been. No, we know this. This is the song of.
The age together over 100 years.
Oh yes.
So do that.
Shucks, yeah, boy.
We could do this part together, and then we could do individual stuff, and I come back. We will have vibe.
Well, of course, we must have to do that. Had to do soon. We're on the block. And I mean, Vin had to make a list, but Joey and I gonna sit down and continue the conversation and the vibes and things.
Before we run out, where we are here, that connection, the Coca-Cola, we did the theme song.
Yeah. And 19, it was boy. Go Marcel, come on, baby, come on, baby. We want more, sweet was so. Go on, go, trip, go.
But the kind of us,
Yeah.
and the way it's group. So we did the theme song when they went like at the 17, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, serious.
I have some, yeah.
Wait, that is research. People research. That's serious because I mean, again, and this is just scraping the top
There's
of the ecstatic. I had about 3 different sessions going down the road
And then they should still have
before,
that ecstatic thing.
during, and then I have post
After ecstatic.
ecstatic.
Mighty.
Yeah.
The transition will be at Norway.
Yeah, but before you go, Vin, what has been for the last few years for you in terms of music? Because I know, like I say, I see you but both of them have parang band
Yeah,
and regular bands.
yeah. Well, in a nutshell, after ecstatic was Roots Fire, Asylum for
Well,
6 years.
I know you silent, but both of them were silent.
Yes.
Yeah, both of them like basically started.
About 6 of us from ecstatic way
Went straight to Asylum, and that I remember that year. That was
the ecstatic asylum.
Was it 2000?
Roach, Joey, myself, Greg Green, Animal, Dorian.
Yeah, because Gregory did, yes, Animal did come after a while.
We had a 4 of us there.
Bucky-
And it wasn't planned.
Bucky was part of it.
No.
Bucky was who? Bucky was
But we had Image before ecstatic.
No, that's what I mean. Bucky was ecstatic. To part ecstatic. Yeah, that's what I mean. Drama.
Asylum.
No, drama. Nah, Bucky was ecstatic. I remember Bucky being ecstatic and that kind of thing. And I couldn't remember Animal being ecstatic. And then I remember the other was laid down in the
But both
end.
Animal and Bucky were the second Image. And came to ecstatic.
Yeah. Because I mean, I much choices.
So at present, my band is Soca Unit.
Yeah.
I will have a parent band.
Yeah. And you're playing for everything else.
Yeah.
And I saw even for Calypso Fiesta. You was in the Fiesta.
I'll work with Speezy, right?
The Fiesta. They say, yeah.
I did one spectacular. I work with
Yeah.
The one, but I forgot to know the spectacular.
The one I was asking about this week was the you said it was tribute to Gone But Not Forgotten, and that was for Carnival this year 2025. That was Carnival 2025. That was crazy. I was chasing.
The boy here. Studying art for it here. 2 magnificent shows. I turned out of 4. And we go to bring it up again sometime. Maybe one of the long weekend or holiday weekend or something. There were a lot of people didn't get to see it. And there were a lot of people who last one that we didn't pay.
I didn't get to see it. When I saw the clippings of it, I was like, shucks, Nappy did Stalin song.
We just started, yeah.
Yeah, that kind of thing.
I was kind of instrumental and I helped Frank put that show together too.
Nice.
When I told him got Mr. Shaq to do the shorty, he said, "You sure?" I said, "When Mr. Shaq when he couldn't believe it."
Yeah, well, and Shaq size as well is like a shorty oriented kind of vibe.
Not only that, people were, especially when you watch out by trying to tap with the guitar.
Yeah, because again, musically inclined.
Even us on stage, Shalom Big and Shalom come out.
Yeah, boy. Woo. Shalom has mashed me up.
Yeah, people talk about.
Shalom has mashed me up. Shalom has looked like Shadow off the back foot.
Yeah.
He and his mannerism.
When they were much younger, Sean was more like the first.
Shadow, yeah, I know that Sean was there, but Sean remained the clean. But Shadow, Shalom just one clear, boy. I mean, it's crazy, but then, I know you had to run out and drink, but I mean, the pass back Sean the block.
Yeah.
And do you have to do, you know what I mean? There's part 1 of probably about 5 episodes to come. Of the brothers, you understand?
Yeah,
and the next time you got some food, you got some cutters, you got something, you know what I mean?
And do we have to do now we do on the pavement binaries?
Binary, what talk why you could bubble up on the pavement? Listen, man, we have so much. I have a lot of history with Vin, especially going back. Joey was always the one that was working. Yeah.
I don't know how Steve is. Why don't you know Steve?
Yeah, you know what Steve is?
I tell you, man, how you tell us
The big afro, isn't it?
No. I sucks. Yeah, I sucks.
He said stuff I didn't buy.
My sugars, some of my sugars. Yeah.
When I reach, I say, Black or Harry, yeah, he's special Harry, I want to.
Yeah.
Said, like, so I said, Shervon Black off. He said, oh, that's how I sleep. He said, no more short, like, I'm confused. It's just like, you know what, Stevens? I said, I'm not playing slave. Come on, short. He's going to little children soon. You're right, man. Just one speed. Then I know how to to make my big drink out of my opinion.
Yeah.
A small drink.
I know chaser, chaser with sleeve.
Yeah. I mean, I pack like my diaries. Remember, grocery road.
Yeah, boy.
On the side.
On the side road.
Opposite to represent.
But Vin always have cracker in the trunk. He always have cracker in the trunk at the gas.
Yeah.
Even from the days, I mean, when I know how I know Vin before Ecstatic was
Like the office,
by Maxwell down on Forest Police Compound where I grew up. I a teenager, I go to school still, and watch me. It was a big thing. We used to be home now, so it was the Macmillan sons and then myself for the youth on the thing. My sister was smaller.
Yeah.
But when you hear carnival time, you're waiting to see who coming down the road because you're sure. Yeah, sure. It have entertainers down on that down the road.
Yeah.
They're sure by Maxwell have somebody especially ecstatic coming down in them days. Sure and everything. So all you're waiting for, you get up early now. You know, party was Friday night, Saturday night. So you get up early Saturday morning or Sunday morning, you're peeping down the hill so to see what car park up down the road. Them days sure driving I'll be 13.
Yeah.
I can't remember you was driving.
I studied that will be 13.
13 was the big car. 13 was the moving car, you understand? So it's Nappy, it's Sean, it's Vin, is but you making joke.
Yeah.
And you understand? Ronnie, everybody down there. And then one time now, pull up down there, they come out, but what all of a sudden in the grocery Sunday morning, right over the road, yeah, so was the big grocery. And I pull up by line going on down the road. There's ecstatic and traffic downstairs.
Yeah.
But you talk about Bacchanal?
We cook there after licensing straight by earlier.
Cook
all the fruit to go in the pan.
Yeah. Listen.
Pot after pot.
Yeah. Dog heart, boy.
Yeah,
This is dog heart, boy. Dog heart. And what's her name, boy? Pastor Cassandra, and you know, well.
Yeah.
And that was my introduction to Ecstatic before I even dream of being on radio. I was still in Belmont Intermediate. I was still in school. So this is why I met Vin. Joey was homeboy. Joey used to be in them kind of lines. They ain't coming down in our zone, but you would have seen most Ecstatic slick everybody, and I met them before. I met members of Traffic, Andy and Steve, and they showing joined the band. And I mean I was around when showing joined the band. Eric.
Yeah.
It was Eric and things. So Eric, you understand? So then for that after party in town, so if it's after fire, or if it's licensing, or if it's whatever, them early fets and especially, you understand? Somebody office straight down there, and before and Carnival week, you're guaranteed to see everybody down there because now fed back to back coming down the road.
Yeah.
So man, going far, man. Yeah, cook and what's man? Food, cooking whole day. Whole day, yeah, boy. Yeah, we share some good times, you know what I mean?
Then you make a trip from the port. The other side of this, remember that?
From the port. Right. I make a trip from the port.
Miami.
Everybody. Boy,
my first flat screen. My plans are doing stuff.
I carry stuff down Palo as well. Yeah, I carry stuff down there.
That's for Bungie and them.
Yeah.
Doing.
All 10 o'clock in the night, I chop around things still enough. I think your place was the last place.
Yeah, we end up cooking
alive in the night, but I reach up for the next morning. Yeah.
We used to go Grand Smart after Miami Carnival. We go Grand Smart, it's our sale. Everything cheap. I remember that. A free microwave, a free this.
Yeah, boy. That was, I mean, I came with bands. I mean, I know you had to leave. I know how to leave in a little bit, but it's amazing to see in bands the other side of the band members, the regular side, the day-to-day. Yeah, the day-to-day, because everybody would think that you guys you're always on that level and always on that thing. You know, you see you all there, and then you don't see you all again, you know, but I guess people in the area would have seen you guys back and forth and that kind of thing, but it was always, for me, a pleasure, especially when it's time. I mean, with interview artists, most of the times, very rare musicians would have this kind of spotlight to be able to sit down and reminisce basically.
Of course.
You understand? The musicians, the people, the engine behind the band. A man will come and sing a cappella, but for how long? Yeah, you don't have no band with you in problems. You understand? I think the band members, engineers, the people behind the scenes are so integral and so so important. And I mean, some of them don't like the spotlight, but
It's true.
band members. I can't wait to deal with with BC and them fellas that I work with. Sly, I mean, Sly and them are different kettle of fish. I had a setup, you understand? I had a setup for them. Yeah. But I want to be able to say this much though, without even a doubt. You guys are the most important people when it comes to band. Because look here, your compatriot in back here who, you know, the Dutchy brothers, we they saying it was no artist, no vocal, it was just music from 8 p.m. to 4 a.m.
Yeah.
And this is music alone. So you all are artists who would not be able to survive on a stage for an hour singing. You had to be real good. Prince might not do it. You understand? But then Prince is a musician.
Yeah.
Correct.
You understand? But a band could stand up on stage and play for 8 hours non-stop.
Yep.
Just pass water and a drink on the side and man playing because music from the beginning of time, not only that, passion is one thing, but from the beginning of time, slavery days, it had no vocals. How communication used to happen?
Yeah.
One village to the next village is drums.
Yeah, yeah.
And they sending information through the drums.
Yes, correct.
So music was always there at the beginning.
Transform, yeah.
Music, and I say musicians, I just jealous musicians bad. Not a singer, you know. Musicians, you know why? To interpret something in through chords and notes is super phenomenal. It is.
Like communication.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Like you said, you and the two guitarists had a lock.
Yeah.
You had to know what chord to play, how to play it, and if you go on off on a little riff, the band itself just back and say, well, all right, you go on, and still accompany down the line, and it's important to have you guys, and it is very, I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's an amazing skill. But yeah, Harry, boy, give chat, Alvin.
Game chat.
Part 2 and part 3 is gonna come.
Yeah, man.
This ain't done yet. I want to see this. We have more to come. Yeah, we are out there.
Before you leave,
Ahead.
it's nice meeting you.
Same here.
We were talking outside, but you didn't tell me this is your brother. I want to say something. We are all a family now, eh?
Yes, sir.
This is not friends anymore.
Yeah.
I didn't know you were so deeply involved with Vin Courtney.
Well, this is long. Yeah.
We used to play with Vin Courtney from Palo Seco or something.
That's where we got from, man.
I was at the Coconut Creek, Lucero Beach.
Right.
And I enjoyed, although I wasn't there
What's here?
physically, but in spirit and soul, I was there with you all. And I could see the high energy with among you all. And I could feel it, the music in you. I could feel it, the way you all express all yourself.
Boss.
They contribute to that.
Boss.
Yeah. The cheese on every you all know.
80 years
And 86.
Excuse me.